There have been a couple times in my Wolfpack fandom where I left Carter Finley Stadium just feeling completely embarrassed to wear the red and white from NC State. Tonight was one of them.
You are Locked On Wolfpack, your daily podcast on the NC State Wolfpack, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What's up, Wolfpack Nation? Welcome to your Saturday evening post-game live. NC State, because there's no other way to say this, pisses down their leg and loses to the coachless, the dead corpse of the Virginia Tech Hokies, 23-21. As always, I'm Grayson Boone, joined by former Wolfpack defensive tackle Kenton Gibbs. This post-game live is brought to you by Mazda. Like the players, Mazda sweats out every detail, because when you make every move count, not like NC State did tonight, pulling off the unexpected is only the beginning. Stay tuned for later in the show for highlights. In fact, they might just be lowlights in this week's Mazda moving the game forward. Mazda, move and be moved. Let's just let this thing rip. We all know what we're about to get on here and say. That was easily a bottom three loss. It might be one of the Dave Doeren tenure at NC State. How on God's green earth do you lose to that Virginia Tech team? The same Virginia Tech team that was down 28-0 at home against Old Dominion, and then proceeded to get also blown out in the second half as well. They fired their coach 2 weeks ago. That Virginia Tech team. This was an embarrassment beyond belief on Saturday night in a night game in Carter Finley, the type of environment that we pride ourselves so much in creating, an environment that's tough for opposing teams to come in to win. And a team that has absolutely nothing left on the table to play for comes in and leaves with a W. Kenton, what happened in Carter Finley tonight?
What happened was the nail in the coffin of Dave Doeren's tenure at NC State.
Yes, without a doubt, yes.
This is the end.
That's it. It's over.
This is the end.
It's it.
Unless Doeren pulls off the unthinkable, something so miraculous, and just wins out and dominates every game and somehow gets us into the ACC championship or gets us into the playoffs, this is over.
That's it.
This is over. And I have never been a guy who's been like, oh, fire a coach. You get paid a lot of money, so fire. Because I understand these are jobs. These are men with families. These are lots of things go into this. At the end of the day, a lot of people don't know this. The press box is located very near the boxes of individual donors.
Yes.
And the thing called the Wolves Den, which has a lot of big money donors coming in and out. The things that I've heard, and I'm not going to speak for any group of people. I'm not going to speak for any donors or say, I will say for a fact, people who were there and giving money when I played as part of Doeren's first recruiting class were saying things like, I'm not giving another dime till he's gone. How do you bring this back? We always said, if you fire Doeren, what's the alternative? What's the alternative down for keeping him? What's the alternative up for keeping him? We're looking at year 13. We're looking at a loss to a team that got blew out by Old Dominion University. Oh, you know what? That's not good enough, Grayson. That's not good enough. How about let's try this on for size? Who do you think allowed more rushing yards to Virginia Tech, NC State or Wofford? Let's try that on for size. Who do you think?
I hate that I already know the answer.
Okay, wait.
That's how bad this is.
Hold on, let's try this, Grayson. Let's try this one because maybe that one is a little too it's specific. You know, rushing yards, very specific type of thing. And that's not something that you get as a broad overall thing. Let's try points, right? Points are generally a good metric for Grayson. We scored 21 points.
Correct.
Against Virginia Tech. 24 points would have won the game against Virginia Tech, correct?
Yes.
Of all the teams that they played, outside of NC State, how many of them got held to 23 or less?
Is it just Wofford?
Just Wofford. Just
Nice.
Wofford and us. If you score 24, you win this game. You win this game. I am so thoroughly disappointed with all parties involved. All parties involved. This is not just on the coaches, because the execution by the players, listless, lifeless. But that's why I say it's time for this team to get a new direction and a new voice. And moreover than anything else, I'm going to say something that a lot of people may not agree with, but I think this take is going to age like Nia Long in 5 to 10 years. Boo Corrigan has been the greatest athletic director in NC State history in terms of hiring, who he's hiring, and all that good stuff. Our soccer team was never about much, and now all of a sudden they're the number one team in the nation. Our basketball team, we were excited to go to the NCAA tournament on occasion, never won the ACC. He set the expectation. He got the ACC one. And then after he got the ACC one, he was okay saying, I don't give a damn if we are a year removed. This is too bad to keep you here. And then he goes out and gets the biggest fish out there. With all due respect, I'm ready to see Boo Corrigan cook up again. But we can't have that if we decide, well, if we get rid of Dave, who's going to be better? Who's going to be the guy? Who's going to be and I was okay with that when we were at least getting enough positive results. Even when I was talking to a gentleman, I was sitting next to somebody in the press box today that was representing a Virginia Tech outlet. And I said, the only thing that Virginia Tech should be worried about here after they punted the ball to end the game, I said, everything is going your way. The only thing you got to worry about here is one thing, the fact that Dave Doeren is the king of winning games in a manner that makes it still feel like a loss. But in this one, we actually lost that ball game. And here's the worst part about it, Grayson. People aren't going to want to hear this, but it's the truth. Every game in front of us is winnable. Every game in front of us is losable. That's the facts of the matter, Grayson. Not a single team that we've played have I seen, oh, man, yeah, you can't do nothing with them boys. Not a single team we've played. Not a single one, or not a single team that we're going to play have that. But you know the problem? Our coaching is to a point where I don't think we'll have the motivation to show up as our best selves or a better version of ourselves.
No.
Even I talk about the defense a lot in terms of the players and what they're not doing tackling and execution-wise, which they deserve. Why, under God's green earth, if they're in 12 or 21 personnel, I'm sorry, 12 is one back, two tight ends. If they're in 12 personnel, why, under God's green earth, are we sitting there in nickel? This running back is clearing everything. And now we've got backers responsible for two gaps because we're sitting in nickel. I said before this season, 8 or more, 5 or less. When people ask me what it was looking like at multiple points, I said 5 or less. I stand by that. I stand by right now we're looking like 5 or less. I give you Campbell. I give you the Dirty Foot Club. Right now, I don't feel confident about anything else. And the crazy part is, coming out of this weekend, I said to myself coming into this game, we saw Florida State go down. We saw Georgia Tech be on the ropes and need a similar call to what Duke got against us to survive against the mighty Wake Forest Demon Deacons. I said, if NC State does what they're supposed to do and take care of this in this game, take care of business, I can easily see 8. And you know what they showed me instead? Well, we don't really trust CJ right now. We're going to keep him on a tight leash. Well, I know that we got a running back that's been one of the best runners in the nation, but I know our offensive line has been mauling people. I'm not sure in this game. At the end of the day, I look at this game with so much disappointment, but I look at it as the moment that's going to get the house cleared. We got to clear house. We got to clean house. With all due respect, I love CJ Bailey in this wide receiving core. Love Hollywood Smother. Love all those guys. I'd love to keep them. I'd love for us to go down to New Orleans. You know, I'd love for Boo Corrigan to gas up that jet, go put his feet up on that desk at Tulane and say, hey, old Johnny, come here, man. Come here. Don't worry about talking to nobody else. You tell us the number. The check is blank and make it happen. But the reality is you can't bring this back. You can't. How, Grayson? You tell me. What path do you have to getting back the buy-in of the boosters, of the fans, of the, what do you have here when every other sport is ascending all at once? Women's basketball, we know what they bring every year. We know who they are. Soccer, now on an upswing. Men's basketball, Will Wade, now on an upswing. What choice do you have? Elliot Avent is a legend who's been to been to Omaha multiple times. So even as you look at the twilight of his career starting to dwindle down, you say he's got some banners that only 4 teams from that year have. I'm cool with that. If Dave Doeren had that success, if he had NC State, even if we didn't win the ACC, if he had us in a position to be one of the last 4 teams left playing, hey, to hell with the ACC, man. You got us be one of the last 4, baby. That's not happening. So at this point, it's been great. It's been great. It's been a fantastic run. And although people may not remember Doeren with the reverence that they might need or they probably should, I know it's hard to hear that right now. At the end of the day, he's going to have all the records until somebody comes along and takes them from him. That's just the facts. That's just the facts about his time. It's been great. Bye. We can't keep this up. We can't do this no more, man.
I don't even know what to say, so I'm just going to get into an ad read so I can chew on it for a couple seconds. Stick with us. Quick ad. Our first sponsor of our Saturday night post-game live is Mazda. For those who believe it's not just about playing the game, it's about redefining it. There are moments that do more than just put points on the board. They move crowds, they move culture. It's about keeping the game moving forward. Tonight's, you know what? I'm not going to call them highlights. Tonight's lowlights, maybe the brightest low light we saw, in my opinion, is probably Keenan Jackson. Keenan Jackson had another great game, caught a touchdown. Couldn't get enough of them because we lost 23-21. I'm like seething angry, by the way. But when you follow what moves you, the unexpected is only the beginning. When there's more to every highlight, there's more to every Mazda vehicle. Mazda, move and be moved. All right, I figure it's my turn. What is there to say? A lot of folks at the end of last season, when you had hopes as high as the ACC championship, and maybe if the things fall in your favor, you could get into the college football playoff. To watch that season fall apart, and you go 6-6, and then, let's make it a little bit worse. You lose to ECU in the bowl game. A lot of us are probably thinking, man, is this rock bottom? Is that what this feels like? I think I have a definitive answer for anyone who had that thought. You saw it tonight. Tonight's rock bottom. We just talked about this week that Virginia Tech had the moment that the straw broke the camel's back. They put up a goose egg. They got 34-pieced in the second half against Virginia Tech, and that team, against Vanderbilt, their team quit. They quit. They quit on their head coach, essentially gave up.
Yep.
And then that rolled into the next week, and they quit in the first half, and they got blown out by Old Dominion. I cannot hammer this point home harder than I'm trying to right now. You lost to that team. That's rock bottom. That is rock bottom. It does not get worse than this. In year 13, it does not get worse than this. With the talent that you have on offense, we look terrible running the ball tonight for reasons that I don't have answers for. Virginia Tech is, I think it was either the worst or the second worst rush defense in the entire conference. You made them look like prime Clemson tonight. How does that happen? CJ Bailey looked entirely uncomfortable for the entire night. Did not look comfortable, did not look confident, didn't look like he had any confidence at virtually any time we were going to throw the ball. And I'll take it one step further. The plays that were called did not look like we had confidence in CJ Bailey to execute them. So I don't know. Maybe Duke broke us at this point. I hate to have to admit that. Perhaps that loss broke us because the NC State team that I saw tonight, that team maybe wins 5 games. We were talking about, I could see 7-5. I could see 6-6. The team that I saw tonight, they're not going to a bowl. They're not. I'm sorry. They will not. Not with the schedule we have in the second half of the season. In fact, I would say the only guaranteed win, and maybe even that's a stretch, is Campbell. We'll see. We'll see. But it does not get worse than this. You said, how do you bring this back next year? You don't. Because if you do, you are openly telling not just the world, but your own fan base, Wolfpack Nation, we are unserious about playing college football. We're unserious about being competitive in the ACC. We're unserious about playing for championships. We're unserious as a program on a national level. If you bring that back, and they're not, they won't, but that's what that would be displaying. The effort tonight was reflective upon that idea that we are an unserious program. And that's staggering because of what you put together in that 4-year run from 2021 to, I'd say, 2021 to 2023. So a 3-year run. That was probably the height, maybe one of the heights ever for NC State football. 9 wins, 8 wins, 9 wins. You feel good about yourself. How far have we fallen in 16 months, 18 months? I mean, good Lord. Good Lord. So I told y'all, I believe this was on a Thursday show or it was our Friday show. I said, what did I say was going to happen if you lose to this team? It is now officially, drum roll please, basketball season. It's over. This fan base is checked out after a loss like this one. We have fans that are too passionate to put up with something like this. We have people that pour in so much of their own money to see NC State compete. We did not compete tonight. We flailed around for 60 minutes. That's embarrassing. And we as a fan base, we don't deserve this. We don't. We're too good of a fan base, too passionate. We care too much to watch something this poor. And so, again, I'll say this one more time. How do you bring this back? You cannot. This is it. This is the nail in the coffin. My only hope moving forward is that locker room does not just completely mail it in. That's what I hope, because that will be an even further length of embarrassment from where we're at right now. But I mean, if we are calling a spade, as we do on this show, your aspirations, whatever they may be for this season, tonight, see ya. Poof. Fairy dust. Gone. Incinerated. That is how bad of a loss this is. I'm so serious when I tell you this is a bottom 3 loss of the Doeren tenure. Point blank. That's a fact. That's how bad this is. Should we even get into the stats, Kenton? Why bother? You gave up 229 yards on the ground. Hello. What are we doing?
We look at this. We look at this game, and you know what? I don't think we need to get into deep analysis here. I really don't. I don't think this is a deep analysis episode because we just lost to a team whose only win came against Wofford, whose losses included allowing 30 straight points against Vanderbilt and a blowout against ODU. I don't think we need to get into statistical analysis because this was just so disappointing on so many fronts. Yeah, we talk about the coaching in terms of the play calling, but let's talk about the players and the execution of the play calls for a second. The lack of enthusiasm that I saw in this game. There was a reason that I kept saying all week, a wounded animal leaps highest. There was a reason I said you got to put them down early, because what happened as the game went on later and later and later, more and more and more. Grayson, was that 85-yard run in the first quarter or was it in the third?
It was in the third quarter.
It was in the third. You know how that happens? Because they kept giving him the ball. This is how unsure they were of themselves. That young man had 4 carries in the first half or so. And in those 4 carries, only one time did he not get a first down, and they did not give him the ball more. That's how unsure of themselves they were. They were looking to be put down and out of their misery. They were looking for it. This is the program that I gave 3 of my attendance for. This is the program that, A lot of people are like, oh, you got a full-time job. You cover all of the ACC. What do you want to still do NC State for? This place, as long as I've got air in my lungs and people will allow me to, will always have a voice in me for it. And that voice will not be one of doom and gloom, and every time we lose, it's over, we're done, this is terrible. And it's not going to be a voice of sunshine and rainbows, and regardless of what's happening, oh, this is great, everything is great, we're fine. What I'm going to do is I'm going to call it like I see it always. And this loss hurts my heart to a point that damn near brings me to tears, man, because as players, how do you not get up to put this team away? If you get up for this game, this is a stat game. This is what this game was supposed to be. This was supposed to be a game where you come in early, you do a little bit of digging off in their behind, and it's over. It's over at half. They're saying, hey, man, you know, their coach is saying, just play for pride. Put some good film on tape for when you want to enter the portal. That's what their halftime speech was supposed to be. But you know what it was instead? Hey, we got to lead, boys. We got to lead. You see what happens when we play Virginia Tech football? We got to lead. We're better than them. To see the players come out and execute with such a lack of urgency, with such a lack of confidence, with such a lack of urgency was disappointing. To see multiple players who are supposed to be senior leaders continuously caught with their pants down, continuously caught out of position, continuously be some of our biggest disappointments. I don't know what it is about Dave Doeren and his staff and these players these past couple years that are seniors that are supposed to be stars. The lights are too bright. Turn them off. Turn off those lights. They're too bright. That's what I'm hearing from our stars on the regular, from guys who are going to ACC Media Day on the regular, from guys who are supposed to be doing the things that lead this team. Instead, I'm seeing, I don't know. This is so hard. It's so much. The reality of this is simple. Dave has to go. We got to go in a new direction. And at this point, I just hope that the rest of the season is not so poor that we lose all of our talent that's currently here. That's my hope at this point. I'd hope to keep the likes of Terrell Anderson and Keenan Jackson and Jonathan Paylor and CJ Bailey and those guys. And I'm pretty sure Hollywood is going to be playing with the Shield next year. By that, I mean in the NFL. But a Duke Scott and guys like that, I hope that we can keep them. I hope. But at this point in time, a lot of these guys, we don't deserve them. Justin Jolie, all that he's done for this team and how much better he's gotten as a blocker, how he consistently shows up, we don't deserve a guy like that. Even in this game, he played with urgency. He played like this game and everything to him. And then we got to look around at other guys. I remember looking at that play that they stopped us on, I want to say it was 4th and 1, where it seemed like the tide turned against NC State. And it was the exact same run, basically, that happened against Duke. But their linebacker fills the hole and comes downhill, and he brings the funk instead of waiting for it to be brought to him. And I said, oh, my God, this is – so I can't just blame the coaches. I've also got to say players. You're put in a position, and at a certain point, you got to go be an athlete. We can't do this no more.
That run, was that 4th and 1 and shotgun when we ran to Smothers?
Yeah.
I want to talk about that real fast. And I saw somebody reference this in the comments. What is this inconsistency with the decision-making on using Will Wilson or not using Will Wilson? What is it? If you're going to use him consistently in short yardage situations, how do you not go to him on 4th and 1? Instead, you line up in shotgun, which is historically, and by historically, I mean like the last 3 years, never worked out for us in short yardage situations. Like,
but you know what, Grayson? This is a compounding of the problems that we've always had. This is finally all those things that we swept under the rug, making our house dirty and mucky and grimy, and the grime is now coming from under the rug. We have been getting consistently stopped on 4th and short and 3rd and short for the last 3-4 years.
And we keep running into the same brick wall. How? How do you run in?
We got one of the best running games in the ACC, one of the best running games in the nation. And yet We have to pull out a gimmick. With all due respect to Will Wilson, I think he's a fantastic player. He's another one of those guys I hope we can keep. I genuinely do. Love that brother down. I hope we keep him. But he's another one of those guys that I look at and say, why do we even have to use him if we have one of the best running games in the ACC in the nation? Why can't we line up and say, dude, go be strong. Go be the juggernaut. Go give me a yard. Why can't you look at your interior offensive line and say, I need 3 feet. Y'all are making tens of thousands of dollars. Go get me 3 feet. And that's it. Instead, we got to come up with cute gimmicks and cute little ways to, do all these things. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. And again, this is why I say you cannot bring Doeren back because with all due respect, the problems that are persistent are now spilling over to the point where we can't do it anymore. We just can't. We can't do it. We're losing to Boston colleges who on senior night because we played it too conservative. And then Dave fixes the conservativeness, and then we lose to a Virginia Tech team like this because we can't run the ball on 4th and 1. We can't stop the run against a team that is running, in essence, 2 to 3 concepts. They were running inside zone, counter, inside zone, counter, inside zone, counter. That's it. And we were just so flabbergasted as if we'd never seen those plays before, when if you watch any damn film on Virginia Tech this year, that's all they run.
Yeah.
That's why everybody else was stopping them after halftime. It is, and that's why they couldn't get anything going against ODU, because they were prepared, they were motivated, and they were getting it done. This is a moment where we just got to accept it. This is the end. It's been great, Doeren. It's been real. It's been fun, but it ain't been real fun, brother. And again, I'm saying that as a man that is only in Raleigh because of Doeren. I'm never going to sit here and lie to y'all because that's the coach that brought me in and say, oh, everything's okay. Because it's not. It's not. The standard has to be the standard. And your standard has to be winning a game like this at minimum. To me, the standard should be dominating a game like this with all due respect.
Yeah.
Hats off to Virginia Tech. They came in here and kicked our behinds. They were more physical up front. Their back was more physical that we could not tackle, which, again, has been a problem for Doeren. Even when we had Coach Gibson here the last couple of years, tackling was a problem. And then we see this year, tackling still a problem. We saw it against UVA, tackling was a problem. We saw it against Wake Forest as well. Tackling was a problem at times. I'm lying. Tackling was great against Wake Forest. That's about it. That's about it. But we've seen time and time again, tackling being a problem, tackling being a problem, tackling being a problem. Here it goes again. So, again, this team needs a new direction. It needs a new voice. We can't keep this up.
Look, I know pretty well when I see somebody that does not want the job that they have. I know. You can tell when somebody does not want their job.
I'm a recruiter. I also know that well. I can see it in the candidate.
You know it. And Dave Doeren, we can see it, brother. Quick ad read. Stick with us. Our second live sponsor of our Saturday post-game live is 5 Hour Energy. This is fitting. You might need one of these babies in the morning when you get up for church and pray for a new direction of NC State football. Caffeine just got a flavor upgrade. 5 Hour Energy shots deliver tasty caffeine in now 17 bold different flavors. Each 2-ounce shot packs a caffeine of a premium 12-ounce cup of coffee, plus B vitamins and nutrients with 0 sugar and 0 crashes. What I love the most is they're so portable. In fact, you can just take them on the way to church. Big taste, tiny shot. You can take it anywhere and everywhere that you go. Get that boost that you need when you need it. Enough with the boring, flavorless caffeine. It's time to give your caffeine a flavor upgrade with 5 Hour Energy shots. Get the favorites that you love or be bold and try something new in-store and online at www.5hourenergy.com or on Amazon today. All right, last couple minutes of our Saturday evening post-game live. NC State, whatever you want to call that, loses to Virginia Tech, the rudderless ship of Virginia Tech, 23-21. Lasting snapshots here outside of just pure just pure embarrassment. Embarrassment in its purest form is what I witnessed tonight. I didn't know if I was going to make it out of the stadium. I thought I'd just collapse on the spot and just lay there until somebody swept me out with the broom. That's how bad I felt about this loss. I think there's only one other time I can think of where I felt that bad. That's how bad tonight was. Oh, my goodness. CJ Bailey, 76% completion percentage. The only problem is you didn't have enough of it when you needed it. 240 yards through the air, 2 touchdowns. The run game tonight was very bad. 32 carries for 59 yards, 1.8 yards per carry. Only time we got in the end zone was Duke Scott. You were right about that, Kenton. I saw that tonight would be the night that Duke Scott scores. He did, and I hate that now we made it ultimately not matter. Justin Jolie, 6 catches for 60 yards. Keenan Jackson, great game, 5 catches for 35 and a touchdown. But what good is it talking about the offense when the defense gives up 229 yards on the ground, another 177 through the air to Kyron Drones, and you lose to the corpse, and I do mean corpse, of Virginia Tech Hokies? The only thing left to say is, yeah, that's it. I mean, that's it. What else can you say? This is as bad of a loss as you possibly could have thought that it could have been. 23-21. Last couple thoughts before we get out of here, Kenton.
This is just disappointment, man. This is just a level of emptiness that I never would wish upon anybody in terms of Wolfpack Nation, in terms of these players. I can't imagine how they feel. And in terms of people who, again, I have given money to the program since I was a player. Since I was a player back in 2013. Okay? This is terrible, man.
Yeah.
This is terrible. We went out there and got manhandled by a team who was manhandled by Old Dominion. Well, this is I cannot imagine a world where it is only us and Wofford who could not score against the team. It's only us two who could not do it. A South Carolina offense that ranks 80th or worse in every major statistical category put up 24 points on this team. That's all we needed, 24, and we couldn't do it. And I don't want to hear, well, the defense only let up 21, because all of those hundreds of yards allowed them to grind the clock. This is – and the worst part about all of this, as much as people are saying, oh, there's a murderer's row on the back end of NC State's schedule, there really isn't. If we were a serious program with a serious upward trajectory, there isn't a murderer's row. We just saw Florida State lose to the same UVA team that we beat. We just saw Georgia Tech need a couple of egregious calls and a failed 2-point conversion to beat a Wake Forest team that we beat. We've seen Notre Dame, yes, they whooped the wheels off Arkansas. We saw Notre Dame look human multiple times this year, start off the year 0-2. I mean, what more can I say in terms of, at the end of the day, if we were a serious program, we would not be looking at the back half saying that's a murderer's row. We'd just be saying, yeah, hey, right, we got some squads on the backside. Okay, that's fine. But instead, we're looking up, trembling in fear, because we can't even beat the skeleton crew of Virginia Tech. Half of their leading tacklers in terms of 3 of their top 6 gone. They have so many pieces gone from that team. So many guys. The guy who was sitting next to me from Virginia Tech said, yeah, I know for a fact a few of those guys listed on the injury report aren't actually injured. They're just leaving. And we let that team beat us.
Yeah, chew on that for a second.
So I don't want to hear, like I've always said, I will always respect reality. I will always respect Tennessee is in a different bracket of spending than us. I will always respect Clemson is a different bracket of spending than us. Virginia Tech is. Boston College was. Wake Forest was. All of these teams are not in a different bracket of spending. And you can't tell me, even if Virginia Tech was in a different bracket of spending, with the amount that they lost, you would say that this team is still there. Again, it's time for a new voice. And Boo Corrigan, I trust.
Yeah.
And Boo Corrigan, I trust.
He's earned our trust, yes.
At this point, I trust him to land that next hire, but we can't do this with Doeren no more. We can't do it. We can't do it. We can't. How are we supposed to do this? How are we supposed to do it? What are we supposed to say? What are we supposed to do to say, oh, this makes sense. This is okay? A coach so bad he got fired before they hit the halfway point of the season. A team so bad you got your head coach fired before you get through half the season. And we're sitting here saying we lost to that team with guys in the portal, with guys injured, sitting out. Man, come on. I'm done. I ain't got nothing else for you.
No, we're getting out of here. We're beating a dead horse at this point. We all know what the deal is. This is unacceptable. It's inexcusable. It's disgusting. It's embarrassing. I could go on forever, but y'all don't need to hear that tonight. Thank you all for being here. Love y'all. Seriously, no matter what, the highs and lows, y'all are always in here rocking with us. We appreciate that so much. It's going to be a grind now to get through the rest of the season based on whatever the hell we watch tonight. So again, thank y'all for being here. Hit that like button. Drop your comments. I'm sure there will be a plenty of those things. Smash the subscribe button if you have not already. We'll see you back here on Monday where we continue to try and make sense of I guess it was a football game. For Virginia Tech, it was. Shout out to them, I guess. They won. Yeah, we'll see y'all Monday. Love y'all. Go Pack.
Go Pack.